It's like I was going to say, if they're 5, of course they like it.
Yeah.
15, 18 is viable. Those cats might have an opinion that counts. That works. Right on.
The question I got here is, how did you first get involved in film and comic book industry?
Film I got involved in, we made that movie Clerks. Like after I saw Richard Linklater's movie Slacker, let me see, that was 1991. Went to film school shortly thereafter, and then in 93 we started making Clerks. Clerks we took to the Sundance Film Festival in January of 94, and that was where it got picked up by Miramax. We'd showed it to everybody, all the distributors at the time, aside from Miramax, including Miramax. Harvey Weinstein watched 15 minutes and walked out. So we thought we were dead in the water. Yeah, he didn't want it. We thought we were dead in the water. We were like, any pre-Sundance, anybody who could have picked it up had already seen it. So we were like, this is it. We're just going up to Sundance for the glory of showing the movie, and that's it. We have no hope left. And the buzz at Sundance built over. You get 4 screenings, or at least we did. First 2 screenings, like where they were packed and the buzz built, people started talking about it, people started writing about it. So by the time we got to the 3rd and 4th screening in the back half of the festival, it became a hot ticket, and suddenly Miramax was coming back. This dude Mark Tusk, who was an acquisitions guy at Miramax, he was the one who loved it, and he made Harvey come to this screening at the Tribeca Film Center in the Miramax building at the time, which is now I guess the Weinstein Company building, and that's where Harvey walked out of it. So he was like, Mark Tusk said to Harvey, like, there's all this buzz around, you got to come see it at the last screening at the Egyptian Theater. And so Harvey's like, okay. And Mark said that at the same moment that he had walked out in the previous screening, he was just like, fuck this, and was getting ready to leave. And Mark is like, just stay in your seat and think 37. Because in a couple minutes, the 37 dick scene happened, and that's where the movie kind of began. So I guess the first, 5 minutes of the movie were really slow for some people or whatever. So once we got to that scene, suddenly he flipped. He went 180, and he loved it. And then afterwards, he bought the flick, and Miramax put it out. And at that time, that was about the best company in the world that you could possibly have your film distributed by. So we were kind of off and running at that point. Now, because I got to do the movies, I used it to open up a bunch of other doors. We were making Mallrats, and the opening credits for Mallrats, we did as comic books. And I had always been a comic book fan and stuff, and always wanted to write comic books. Even before I wanted to make films, I wanted to write comic books, but I knew I couldn't because I wasn't British. Everyone was British at that point. Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison. So at that point, with film kind of working at least, there's enough sexy in film for me to turn to comics and be like, can I do something here? And so I wound up working with a friend of mine, Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti. They took over a few titles at Marvel and had their own kind of editorial run called the Marvel Knights. One of the characters they picked up from Marvel that they were kind of stewards in charge of was Daredevil, and they knew I was a big fan, so they're like, you want to come do Daredevil? I said, yeah, and that kind of kicked open that door as well. So, that's stuff that, you don't make money, writing comic books and stuff. You make a nice chunk of change. If you wrote a few every month, you'd make a healthy living. But compared to what I do for a living elsewhere, comics is not financially where it's at, but you do it because you fucking love it. When people go like, why are you wasting your time? It's like, it's not a waste of time. Like my agent would often be like, well, how much do you make writing those comic books? I'm like maybe $5,000 tops for a script if you're lucky, and not even that, probably like $2,500. He's like, oh, what a waste of your time and energy. I'm like, not really, man, because it's all practice. I'm writing stuff that I'm happy to write about. And look, if they weren't going to pay me, if they were just like, write this shit, write Batman for a while, I'd do it for free. So it never feels like a waste. And then you put all that time into the stuff you love, and then years later, it aggregates into like a fucking TV show. Like that show that we do on AMC, Comic Book Men.
Love the show.
Thank you. Is literally just me and my friends sitting around talking about the shit we love, comics and toys and stuff.
Do you think we could wrap it up? I need to take a couple photos of you outside.
Absolutely.
I think you need to get going.
We gotta get going. Okay.
Small, quick questions, the last one.
Totally. But that's how comics came by way of film, and film came by way of making Clerks. So my best advice is always like, go make Clerks, because it totally worked for me. And if you can't, make something better. That'll help. Yes, sir. Here we go. Last question, man. What's your name?
My name's Anton Curley.
Anton. How are you? Anton Curley?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What a great name, man. With a name like fucking Kevin Curley, I could have done some shit. Smith is so terrible. Go ahead. What's your question?
So this one is actually kind of pertains to somebody else too. So it's if you knew someone on the bus had a birthday today, and they'd be at the podcast party tonight, would you sing happy birthday?
Absolutely. Yeah, here or at the party tonight. Is that you? We'll sing you happy birthday at the party. Bring it. We have like a room full of people, and that's always fun. That's a nice icebreaker, sing happy birthday to a total stranger. Done and done. Just remind Megan.
He is already singing happy birthday to Alan, so we can sing it.
There it is, man. We can get the dude. Nakia was on The Voice.
Yeah.
Big gay bear of a dude. Has a beautiful voice and shit. He'll sing happy birthday. It's even better. But yeah, easy. I live to make dreams come true. Is that it?
Yeah, cool. I just got a photo of you outside the bus, and then we're good to go.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Pleasure.
We'll see you all.
Pleasure. Go make some fucking art, kids.